So this episode wraps up Tokyo ESP. Now, I know I'm not the only one that is probably an anime-only watcher, and most likely you're watching this video probably seeking answers too. I am very confused about this episode on multiple different factors. Okay, so we are introduced to like a new villain or two new villains at the end of this episode that take down the professor. I'm guessing kill him on the rooftop, and then the episode technically gets rid of him and it ends. Where'd this dude come from? Where'd that person come from? That's the big question I have, okay? Who the fuck is this? Okay, I know it's probably the person the professor wanted to get the entire time, but like, what? Okay. The fighting in this episode, the beginning, first half, felt way too rushed. Like, I don't know if it's only me, but as I've said, I'm an anime-only watcher, but it felt like they were skipping through fight after fight after fight. Like, Minami versus Rinka in this episode, that felt way too fucking fast. I mean, the way you see it switch over to the professor trying to do something completely different now, this was all like something else. It was a decoy, stalling time for him to unleash fucking goldfish into the sky. I'm like, what the fuck? Here's the question I have, okay? I don't know if the actual manga was adapted right, like if the anime adapted the manga right, but it felt like they were skipping over events. But for one reason, what makes me believe they were skipping over events was with Black Fist. Black Fist pops up in this episode and starts fighting again, and you see her pull out this move that has a giant-ass fist and knocks out people with it. I'm like, that's fucking cool, but when I start thinking about it, I'm like, didn't she have an invisibility power? What the fuck is that? I didn't think being invisible could cause you to make your fist, like, go supersize, or not supersize, like, wind go supersize, and blast a fucking fist wind at someone. I just, like, what the fuck is that? Like, how did she get that type of power? And then I want to talk about this, Peggy. Peggy was never explained, honestly. Like, I mean, in this episode, you see Peggy holding up Rinka in this, like, at the ending towards this episode, you see Rinka, you know, holding on to Peggy and floating up. But all of a sudden, you see, you know, Black Fist holding on to Rinka, and she's acting like she's floating, like she's flying. I'm like, if she's holding on to Peggy to fly, shouldn't she be like, oh, help me, you know, like that, holding off to Rinka? You'd think that, wouldn't you? So, did Black Fist get some new powers I did not know of? Because, I mean, they showcased a new fist move, so she might know how to fly now. I don't know. And supposedly she trained for months, which I remember she had her arm hurt and all stuff like that. So, yeah. If that was off screen, I'm just like, what? So, the episode, for the most part, felt very lackluster for a season finale. I'm going to be honest. It felt very lackluster. It didn't feel like a finale. Of course, I'm guessing the manga is still ongoing, so they can't really have a proper conclusion. But the ending teased at a season 2. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if it will have a season 2, because this series isn't that popular, honestly. It isn't that popular compared to other series from this season, and so it might not get a season 2. And for what I heard from manga readers last week in their last episode, it was kind of rushed a little bit. So, overall, the episode was okay. It's a very average ending, very cliche and generic. It's not bad, to say. It just leaves a lot of things unanswered that makes you question and wonder why. Now, the series as an entirety is a pretty fun series. It's a very fun series. It's Hamatora done right. I will say that. I'd rather watch this 5 times over or 1,000,000 times over than Hamatora. This is an X-Men series turned into an anime done right. It's not the best, but it is good. And I felt like that's why I really enjoyed this series. Now, would I recommend it to people? It depends. It really depends. There's questionable things in this series that makes you wonder, like, why, or is this really that good? It's a very average series, so I guess I could recommend it, but I don't know. If you're a big fan of Marvel Comics and X-Men stuff and all that, most likely you will enjoy this series. But if you're not, most likely you will hate this anime, think it's very generic or cliche or boring, and you probably will drop it. So, overall, if I had to rate this series, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. That's exactly what I'm going to give it. So, everybody, tell me your thoughts in the comments below about this episode. And what do you feel about this finale of Tokyo ESP? Love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.